Very few people realize that the air inside your cozy living room can be up to 5 times more polluted than at a busy intersection in the city center. We are so used to thinking of our homes as our personal fortresses, a quiet harbor from the outside world, but modern architecture has inadvertently turned our living spaces into sealed plastic boxes. The furniture made from particle board, the wall-to-wall carpet, and even the paint on the walls are constantly releasing harmful substances that we breathe in every single second. Trying to create comfort, households often make the fatal mistake of reaching for harsh chemical aerosols and synthetic air fresheners. These store-bought products simply lay a heavy, artificial layer of chemicals on top of the old ones, creating a toxic cocktail for your lungs. But nature has a beautiful, cost-effective alternative that lets you stop buying those synthetic cans altogether, saving you thousands over the year while transforming your health. If you want to step away from these chemical traps and build a vibrant, living ecosystem in your space, I warmly invite you to join our growing family by subscribing to the channel right now. We are building a truly global community of nature lovers here. So please take a moment to drop your city, village, district, or country down in the comments below. It is always so beautiful to see how gardeners and farmers from every corner of the world come together in this space, and knowing your location helps me understand exactly where our green community is growing from. Whether you are tending to a few pots inside a small apartment or managing acres of fields, your presence here matters, and I am so grateful to have you at our table today. The real secret to purging these invisible toxins isn't found in a laboratory. It lies in understanding how household items can feed and support the world's most resilient air-purifying plants. Let us start with a plant that almost every household can grow, even if you think you have a black belt in killing greenery. The golden pothos, or devil's ivy. This plant is a powerhouse at absorbing formaldehyde and benzene, which seep from modern flooring and plastics. And you can supercharge its growth using a simple remedy made from common unflavored gelatin, which you can easily find in your kitchen pantry or baking cabinet. Gelatin is packed with nitrogen, a critical nutrient that gives plants that deep green, vibrant look and helps them build a massive leaf surface area to pull toxins out of the air. To prepare this nourishing liquid, dissolve 1 packet of unflavored gelatine, which is 7 grams, in 1 cup of hot water until it completely liquefies. Then mix in 3 cups of cold water to create a perfectly balanced 4-cup solution. For everyday households and home gardeners, keeping pothos in hanging pots on a balcony or shelf, simply pour this mix onto the soil once a month, ensuring you avoid getting it on the leaves. If you are a small or medium-scale farmer propagating pothos or similar vining crops in a greenhouse or nursery bed, you can scale this up by mixing 20 packets of gelatin into 5 gallons of water, applying it as a soil drench early in the morning when the roots are most active. This simple treatment keeps the foliage incredibly lush, maximizing the plant's natural ability to capture fine dust particles. Now, you might remember the humble spider plant from old-school classrooms or library windowsills, and it is easy to dismiss it as boring. But it is actually one of the fastest filters in the botanical world. NASA studies revealed its incredible ability to strip carbon monoxide and formaldehyde out of the air, functioning like a gentle, natural humidifier that softens dry indoor air. However, your grandmother probably knew that spider plants are highly sensitive to the fluoride and salts found in tap water, which often cause those frustrating, dry brown tips on the leaves. The best household solution is hiding right in your kitchen cabinet. Plain white vinegar, which acts as a gentle soil conditioner to counteract salt buildup and mimic the slightly acidic rain of a forest. To make this, take 1 tablespoon of standard white vinegar and thoroughly mix it into 1 gallon of filtered or settled water. For home gardeners and households, water your spider plants with this mixture once every 6 weeks, allowing the liquid to completely soak into the dry earth until it drains out the bottom of the pot. If you are a farmer growing spider plants at scale, as a chemical-free air-cleansing crop for commercial spaces, use a large, clean barrel to mix 1 cup of vinegar into 50 gallons of water and apply it through your irrigation lines during the cool evening hours to prevent rapid evaporation and support rapid, healthy offset production. But here is where it gets really interesting, especially if you want a plant that works hard while you are fast asleep. Most plants only produce oxygen during the day, but Sansevieria, popularly known as mother-in-law's tongue, uses a unique nighttime breathing mechanism that makes it the absolute ultimate addition to your bedroom. Its stiff, sword-like leaves are perfect traps for fine household dust, but to keep its biological filters running at full capacity, the leaves must be kept clean and strong. You can create a phenomenal, natural leaf cleaning and immune-boosting spray using regular green tea, which is sitting right in your kitchen beverage box. Green tea is loaded with natural antioxidants and mild tannins that clean the leaf surface while protecting the plant from fungal pathogens. Simply steep 2 green tea bags in 2 cups of boiling water, let it cool completely down to room temperature, and pour it into a standard household spray bottle. For households and balcony gardeners, mist the vertical leaves lightly once a week, then gently wipe them down with a soft microfiber cloth to remove the gray residue that would otherwise end up in your lungs. For medium-scale farmers growing rows of Sansevieria for the indoor plant market, mix 30 tea bags into a 10-gallon tank and apply it as a fine foliar spray across the entire crop every 2 weeks, ideally in the early morning so the moisture can dry naturally without causing crown rot. Most people throw this away without realizing what it can do for plants like the peace lily, which brings an air of elegance to a room while raising indoor humidity by 5% to make airborne dust heavier and easier to breathe. Peace lilies are exceptional filters against benzene, but they are notorious for drooping dramatically the moment they feel thirsty, and they absolutely crave potassium. Instead of discarding your banana peels into the trash can, you can use them to create a rich, potassium-infused liquid fertilizer right on your kitchen counter. Banana peels are an incredible source of natural potassium, which strengthens the plant's cellular structure, helping it regulate moisture and preventing the heavy basement smell of root rot that happens when the soil stays waterlogged. To prepare this home remedy, chop 2 fresh banana peels into small pieces, submerge them in a quart of water inside a clean jar, and let it steep for 48 hours before straining out the solids. Households and home gardeners should use this nutrient-rich water to deeply soak the peace lily's soil. The moment the leaves show a slight, characteristic droop. For a farmer managing a large greenhouse of peace lilies, you can ferment 50 pounds of banana peels in a 50-gallon drum of water for a week, then dilute that liquid 1-to-1 with fresh water to drench your nursery beds every 3 weeks during the peak growing season. If your main issue at home is the bone-dry air caused by central heating and radiators, the Boston fern is an ancient ally that acts as a powerful biological evaporator, absorbing xylene from hairsprays and perfumes. The secret to keeping a fern lush and preventing it from shedding its tiny leaves lies in the soil's acidity and moisture consistency, which you can easily manage using used coffee grounds from your morning brew. Coffee grounds are naturally acidic and rich in organic matter, helping the soil retain that soft, spongy texture that mirrors the damp forest floor. Take your leftover coffee grounds, spread them out on a baking sheet to dry completely so they do not mold, and store them in a container. For home gardeners, gently scratch 2 tablespoons of these dried grounds into the top inch of your fern's potting soil once a month before watering. For small-scale farmers cultivating ferns for landscape or indoor use, you can spread a thin, half-inch layer of dried coffee grounds across your entire growing beds twice a year, applying it just before a deep watering cycle in the late afternoon, so the nutrients sink deep into the root zone. When we talk about air purification, scale really does matter, and one large plant with a massive crown like the Areca palm can evaporate up to a full liter of water per day, acting as a free biological humidifier. Because the Areca palm has such an immense leaf surface area to keep clean, it requires strong roots, which you can support using Epsom salt, a staple found in almost every household bathroom cabinet or medicine chest. Epsom salt is pure magnesium sulfate, a mineral that is absolutely essential for the production of chlorophyll, giving the palm its vibrant, deep green color and helping it process sunlight efficiently. To mix this remedy, dissolve 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt into 1 gallon of ambient water, shaking it until the crystals completely disappear. For households with a single, magnificent statement palm in the living room, pour this mixture onto the soil once every 2 months during the spring and summer. For farmers growing Areca palms on a larger scale to sell to modern open-plan offices, scale this up by dissolving 5 pounds of Epsom salt into a 100-gallon irrigation tank, applying it evenly across the fields every 8 weeks during the early morning hours to shield the broad fronds from scorching. As we move deeper into our natural toolkit, we find Dracaena, the exotic mini palm on a stick that specializes in neutralizing heavy chemicals like trichloroethylene from new furniture and freshly printed magazines. Dracaena is a tough shield, but it can be incredibly sensitive to heavy mineral buildups in the soil, and you can support its root microbiome using plain, unsalted white rice water from your kitchen. When you wash your rice before cooking dinner, the cloudy water left behind is filled with starches, vitamins, and trace minerals that feed the beneficial bacteria in the soil, creating a healthy underground environment that easily breaks down airborne toxins. Save this starchy water in a pitcher instead of pouring it down the sink, letting it sit until it reaches room temperature. For home gardeners and everyday households, simply use this rice water for your regular watering routine once every 2 weeks, pouring it directly onto the soil until it is moist but not saturated. For medium-scale farmers growing Dracaena varieties in fields or large polytunnels, collect the rinse water from local food processors or ferment a rice grain slurry at a ratio of 1 pound of rice per 10 gallons of water, applying it to the crop monthly to stimulate robust root systems and maintain striking leaf color. But let us transition now from passive filtration to active, natural aromatization, starting with indoor jasmine, which acts as a personal biological relaxant to reduce background anxiety and sweeten the evening air. To encourage jasmine to burst into its legendary fragrant white blossoms, it needs a gentle boost of phosphorus and calcium, which you can find in ordinary eggshells that most people throw away without a second thought. Eggshells are primarily calcium carbonate, which strengthens cell walls and helps the plant withstand temperature shifts, while the trace elements spark heavy budding. Wash your empty eggshells thoroughly, let them dry completely in the sun until they are brittle, and crush them into a very fine powder, using a blender or a mortar and pestle. For households and balcony gardeners, sprinkle 1 tablespoon of this fine eggshell powder around the base of your jasmine plant once a month, gently scratching it into the dirt. For small farmers growing jasmine for essential oils or local markets, apply 50 pounds of crushed eggshell powder per quarter-acre row, spreading it evenly across the soil in the early spring before the first flower buds begin to form. If jasmine fills a room on its own, scented geranium is your interactive freshener that releases bursts of lemon, pine, or cinnamon fragrance whenever you lightly brush past its leaves. The essential oils in its lacy foliage act as natural antiseptics, and you can dramatically increase the concentration of these oils using a simple spray made from standard baking soda, a versatile powder sitting in your kitchen baking drawer. Baking soda alters the surface pH slightly and acts as a mild stressor that prompts the plant to produce more fragrant oils, while simultaneously preventing powdery mildew. Mix 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 3 drops of liquid dish soap into 1 quart of water, shaking the spray bottle gently to combine. For home gardeners and busy households, spray this lightly over the geranium foliage once every 3 weeks, choosing the late afternoon when the sun is low to avoid any leaf burn. For farmers growing fields of scented geranium for local aromatic markets, scale the recipe to 4 pounds of baking soda per 100 gallons of water, spraying the crop every month during the active growing season to keep the leaves pristine and intensely fragrant. We have finally reached the absolute top of our list, the true queen of home perfume, Gardenia jasminoides. A single open bloom can fill an entire household with a rich, creamy floral aroma that rivals a luxury hotel, completely replacing the need for any synthetic chemical sprays. However, The queen demands royal treatment, specifically highly acidic soil, and you can easily maintain this balance using leftover, cooled plain black tea from your kitchen pot. Black tea contains natural tannic acids that gently lower the soil's pH, creating the exact acidic environment gardenias need to absorb nutrients and prevent their precious flower buds from dropping early. Brew a standard cup of black tea using 1 tea bag. Let it cool completely down to room temperature, and dilute it with an equal amount of fresh water. For households and dedicated home gardeners, water your gardenia with this diluted tea solution once every 2 weeks, ensuring the soil stays evenly moist like a wrung-out sponge. For medium-scale farmers cultivating gardenias for high-end florists, brew a concentrated tea using 100 tea bags in 10 gallons of water, mix it into a 100-gallon irrigation tank, and apply it to the crop every 3 weeks during the budding season to guarantee an explosion of unforgettable fragrance. Maxed effect in your home is achieved, not by buying a single miracle plant, but by combining these functions to build a smart, natural ecosystem that softens, cleans, and sweetens the air you breathe every day. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And if you found value in these secrets, please consider subscribing to the channel as a warm thank you for our time together today. Do not forget to share your location in the comments, because whether you are watching from a high-rise apartment balcony or the middle of a vast farming field, this green space belongs to you.